Hey y'all, welcome to Cat Customs, where in this video, I got a fun and easy project to do to shave a little weight off this truck while hopefully adding a little horsepower to it so I can run a better number at the track. So y'all stick around, it should be fun. So as most of y'all know that have followed along with me as I built this truck from start till now, you know that my intentions all along was to build a nice and fun street strip style truck. And I do still enjoy driving this truck on the street a lot. I love going to car shows and cruise-ins. And I've been to cruising the coast down the Mississippi Gulf Coast for 4 years in a row. And I'm hoping to make 5 years this year for cruising the coast's 25th anniversary. So that should be a lot of fun. But winter upgrades that I'm doing this winter, I really got the itch to want to drag race. I'm really trying to buckle down and be more serious about drag racing. I got a few goals that I want to achieve this season. So that's what these upgrades are doing, is just upping my drag racing game a little bit. And I mostly drive this truck on my cruising and stuff is most of the time. From October until December is where I do a lot of my cruising and stuff when the weather's really nice down here in Mississippi. So having the truck set up for drag racing from March until the end of September, it really works out well for me because it's really too hot to be driving a truck with no air conditioning and bare floorboards and stuff as obnoxious as this truck is. So why not set it up for drag racing? So that's what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to pull the exhaust off of my truck, and I'm also going to take care of some blow-by that my 454 has. I'm installing an exhaust crankcase evacuation kit that welds into the exhaust and is used to draw the crankcase pressure out of the crankcase, out of the oil pan and stuff. So that's going to be a pretty easy project. So I'm going to start by removing my exhaust. And as you can see, this is all the exhaust that I have under this truck. This is what gives it its sweet note when I'm being obnoxious and rowdy at shows and stuff. It just consists of a set of hooker competition headers. These are for a Chevelle, a 70 to 72 Chevelle. They fit really nice and they tuck up almost flush with the bottom of the frame. And of course, I've had them with this truck now for about 3 years. And of course, I paint them white because I like the old school look. So as you can see, they're still white. They're kind of nasty now, but when I built the engine and I put it in the truck, it made for some really nice pictures. So I enjoy them being white for now. Even though they do look terrible now, they was at least nice and shiny once. And then I go from the headers. It's got a 3.5-inch collector, and I neck it down, reduce it down to a 3-inch pipe, and it's just running 3-inch pipe back to a set of Flowmaster Super 10 mufflers, and then just turn down right before the rear axle. So it's a really simple setup, and of course it doesn't really do much for muffling the truck a whole lot, but it at least doesn't have that horrible uncapped header sound to it all the time, which just completely destroys what's left of my hearing. But about to pull it off, and we'll see how much this exhaust weighs after I get it pulled off, because what I'm trying to do is actually reduce some weight on this truck, trying to make a better number at the track, naturally aspirated, since I'm also installing a nitrous express nitrous system on this truck. So I'm gonna be trying to set some goals, naturally aspirated, and also with some nitrous on it. So that crankcase evac kit is gonna probably come in handy pretty good when I get around to making some passes on the nitrous. So let's dive on in, start snatching this exhaust off, and then we'll wait and see what we come up with. Diving in. copper collector gaskets. These are really nice. Gonna reuse that one. Quick removable exhaust, really fun. I learned this back in high school whenever I wanted to make a whole lot of noise in my old jacked up Chevrolet truck back in the day. I've had basically the same exhaust system now for probably 18 years. Always running either a regular one chamber Flowmaster and some actual 45-degree bends on the 4-wheel drives, but since this truck's so low to the ground, I couldn't actually have exhaust dangling down or else I'd tear it off knowing me, so yeah. Why have expensive electric cutoffs and add weight, add complexity, and when you can just have 8 bolts, about 10 minutes time and have the exhaust off, save this weight? It's always made more sense for me to have quick release exhaust. So one more to go, then I can weigh them. Dang. All right, so as you can see, I got my exhaust hanging on my scale here. And when I originally decided to do this video, I was expecting weight savings. I had never actually weighed my exhaust and never cared enough to see how much the exhaust actually weighs on this truck. So I thought it'd be kind of fun to see how much it weighs, and I was kind of expecting that my entire exhaust would probably weigh somewhere around 25, maybe even 30 pounds. I don't know where I was getting that from, but it's been a while since I actually mounted the exhaust on the truck, so I was just expecting to have way more than it does. And as you can see, my exhaust from the collector to the tips is only 12 pounds combined for both exhausts. That's a 3.5 inch to a 3-inch collector, 3-inch pipe down to a Super 10 Flowmaster muffler, and then 3-inch, or I think they're 3.5 inch turn downs, which goes to the tip, plus the hangers. That's only 12 pounds. So it's not quite the weight savings that I was expecting it to be, but when you add into the other weight savings I have, I lost about 70 pounds by going from my stock steel hood to a 4-inch fiberglass lift-off hood. So 70 pounds there, and then I lose another 10 pounds off of my exhaust in the end. It's adding up, getting close to 100 pounds, and as they say in a quarter mile, every 100 pounds is a 10th lost. So it's not that much weight loss, but if I lose 10 pounds and I gain a little bit more on the top end of my horsepower, then it's a win-win no matter what it is. Just keep on chipping away. The reason why it's only going to be about a 10-pound weight savings is because I'm going to go back and run a 18-inch long collector extension. So I try not to lose any of the bottom end that this motor makes. If I had it on a dyno and was able to do some sure enough dyno testing, I could actually tune the exhaust for maximum power. But I don't have access to a dyno. But from a lot of other people's experiences and stuff, my engine really has more bottom end than it does top end, just the way the engine is put together. And I don't want to lose what bottom end I have, because it really is what gets this big old heavy bidder with a big block moving, especially with my Sasquatch self in the truck. At about 4,000 pounds, I need all the torque I can get to get off the line. So I'm gonna run these header collector extensions and see if I still have my bottom end. I may actually down the road take them off and put them on and see what my 60-foot times are. But as of right now, I'm going to be running those. So they weigh about a pound a piece. So it's 10 pounds taken off right here. And I'm going to put these inside of the shop till I get ready to go cruising again. No wonder they don't muffle very much and they're still loud, because there's not much exhaust there to have. So I'm going to set these down inside of the shop, and I'm going to put my collector extensions on once I get done welding those bungs into my collectors. So about to get back into the truck right now. It ain't pretty, but it'll do. All right, so now that I'm done playing around with the exhaust in this truck, weighing it and everything, now comes time for a more important part of this project, and that is to install my crankcase evacuation kit. There's multiple different ways to pull spent gases out of your crankcase. The factory way is typically to allow the engine to draw the spent gases back into the intake tract. That's how the factory does it, but a lot of your aftermarket ways is to use like a belt-driven vacuum pump or even an electric vacuum pump. Or the kit that I use, it's a simple kit. I bought it from Jegs, and I've used this on several racing trucks that I've built in the past. And it just has a weld-in bung that uses a one-way check valve, and then you have your own hose that you have to supply that runs from the one-way check valve. It goes up to a set of breathers that go into your valve covers, and it allows the exhaust to draw the crankcase pressure out of the bottom end of your engine. And it's a pretty simple and easy kit to use. So that's why I'm using on this, because it's dirt cheap. And those other kits like your belt-driven pumps and stuff, they're made for more of your full-on race setups that people are using, like on boosted engines, on supercharged or turbocharged, or cramming a lot of nitrous and stuff on them. They'll actually build the bottom end of the engines to have like low tension rings, and then they'll put a good vacuum on the bottom of the engine to help seal the rings tighter. But with this wore out old Camper 454 bottom end, it's just got stock rings and stock pistons on it. So I'm not trying to really gain a whole lot of performance. I'm just trying to get the excess blow by out of the engine. And I'm gonna be cramming a little bit of nitrous down it, so I don't want to have any problems with excess blow by. So this kit's going to work out pretty well. As you can see, I've already got this one welded in, and this kit, it says to on this welding bung in the instructions, you're supposed to, on a 3.5 inch collector, which is what I have, I just slid the bung in 3/4 of an inch, and it's at a 45-degree angle, as you can see in the instructions. And then I just welded in good right in the center of the collector. And the theory is it's using the exhaust pulses to do basically like if you've used a gravity-fed, a siphon-fed sandblast or something like that. It's the same kind of deal. It just allows the air pressure blowing by to create a vacuum and suck the gases out of your crankcase. So that's what I got right here. Is I got this one welded on, and I'm about to run my hose up to the top of the engine, and I'll have that side breather put on, and then I'll come on this side over here and I'll weld the driver's side bung on. I had to actually put it in a little bit different place because I also have an O2 sensor in from a wideband O2 air fuel mixer gauge. So I had to move it so I wouldn't get any possible oil or anything on my O2 sensor. So it's not exactly in the ideal place that they want it to, but it's close enough that I'm really not worried about it not functioning properly. But I'm going to get this one welded in and move on to the next step, get on top of the truck and finish this project up. All right, so now I got the underside of the truck all buttoned up. I got the truck sitting down on the ground so I can show you the rest of the install of the pan evac system. And then the top side of it is really simple to install. My truck, I didn't have any kind of actual crankcase evacuation system. I didn't have a PCV valve or nothing like that. I basically just had these two push-in style breather vents, and there was one on each valve cover. So I just had to remove these, pull these and the grommets out, and then push in the breather that goes into the valve covers with the pan evac kit. And so I used their new grommets, and then you just push the two breathers in on each valve cover. And I use a 5/8 hose, and I bought 8 feet of hose. I was hoping it was going to be enough, and turns out that 8 feet of 5/8 hose was just barely enough to do both sides of my engine. I didn't have any left over. So when you do this, make sure you get enough hose to do the job. Probably 8 or 9 feet, probably on most applications will get the job done. But that's basically it. If you do have some kind of other PCV valve system, make sure you cap off anything that goes into the intake so you don't have some kind of stupid vacuum leak or something bad. But if it's simple like what my truck is, then you basically just pull the breathers out, stick these in, hook the hoses up, and you're good to go. So this setup, it works really well as far as trying to pull the crankcase pressure out of this truck. So now that I'm done with this, I got something really cool to show you, because in full disclosure, I'm actually doing this video after already having this truck at the track. So I got some sneak peeks to show you. I had so much work to do just before going to the track that I did all the work I could and filmed what I could, and then afterward I was going to finish up doing these videos. So that's what I'm doing right now, is finishing up this exhaust video. So I can show you a video, since it's raining outside and I'm not pushing this truck out and getting muddy. I'll show you a video of it idling and walk around the truck. And then I got another couple videos to show you. So here comes the idling video right now. So after that walk around video, you can definitely tell that this old came from 454. It sure sounds stout running through them uncapped headers. But I do have a couple videos. I actually did take this truck to the first race of the season, which was a foot brake bracket race. And I made it pretty far. I think I got put out in the 4th round. And in this video, the guy that I run, it'll be the actual last pass I made of the night. This guy has my number. He beat me by 0.031 total package on the reaction time. So caught me slipping on the light, but I'm coming. I'm gonna try to run him every chance I get, because that's twice he's put me out now. So I'm gonna run him again. But here's a video of the last pass it made. And of course, that was on foot brake, no transbrake launch. And the truck actually first passed right off the trailer, didn't even have to do any tuning. It ran a 793 on the foot brake with no nitrous. So all this work that I've done to the truck has already put it into the 7s. That's without having it fully turned up, without needing any nitrous, and not even on the transbrake. So I'm really happy with everything that I've done to this truck so far this winter. So that was really cool, but I got one more thing to show you. All right, yeah, so that's a sneak peek, and I'll be showing that to you in a later video. The day after the first race of the season, a good friend of mine, James, wanted to help me put the hood on the truck and stuff. He's actually friends with the guy that works at the dyno, and they put me on the dyno. It was a Sunday afternoon. They was doing some work up there, so I kind of got snuck in after closing hours, and we got a good baseline on the motor and run a couple of passes on it. But as far as that goes, as far as the pan Evac system and the uncapped headers in this truck goes, it works great. I have no issues with blow-by. It doesn't even have an oil leak. We run it hard on the dyno. I run it at the track, and there's no oil on the trailer when I left the track, and I didn't even leave any oil at the dyno on the ground. So really happy about that. Wasn't trying to blow the dipstick tube out, which is done before. before doing this. So I'm really happy with the pan evac system on this truck, and it's even on the hard nitrous pulls on the dyno. So yeah, the pan evac system really does work well. You'll see that the pan evac system, it says even on all the labels and stuff, not to use with mufflers. And mainly the reason for that is the way it's set up, because it's pulling a vacuum on your crankcase. Any of the oil that gets chopped up and splashed around in the engine, it can create a fine oil mist that will get sucked out through the vacuum and into the exhaust. And as it goes into the exhaust, it can actually get trapped in the mufflers. So that's a very bad thing, especially if it gets a good film trapped in a bad set of mufflers and ignites. You don't want that kind of fireball under your truck, because that's not something you want to try to put out while going down the road. And another reason is if you have any kind of restrictive exhaust, you're going to have back pressure in your system, and it needs a free-flowing exhaust to actually pull a vacuum on the crankcase. So anything you got long exhaust and mufflers and stuff like that, it's just not going to allow the pan evac system to work properly. But for what I'm doing with my open headers, and even with my short exhaust, I've run this style of exhaust before with the pan evac system on different trucks, and it's worked. It's worked for me, but it's just something to keep in mind, that if you're going to try to run a truck or a car with a system like this, it's worked for me. So just take it with what you will. But that just about wraps this video up. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this, I got some more videos coming out. So I hope to see you then, and keep on coming back here to Alley Cat Customs.